I remember when I got orders for Vietnam, it wasn't a surprise. Everybody was going to Vietnam, so I kind of expected that it was going to happen. Went home, took a leave, flew into San Francisco, and then went to Oakland.
For Vietnam was mostly a family affair. A couple of friends over, a nice meal. I was leaving at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning from Brooklyn, New York.
I was 19 years old. I was invincible, like a lot of young guys. I was idealistic, you know. I enlisted in the Army, so I can't explain it any other way.
When we landed and we got off that plane, I remember the heat was absolutely oppressive. I had never felt heat like that before, and humidity. And
I got wounded. I was on 10 different operations, got 10 medals. 2 of them are 2 President Unit citations that I'm proud of from the 3rd Marine and the 5th Marine. I end up in the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, 3rd Division, 2nd Platoon, 2nd Squadron.
In a combat area, we flew helicopters, and we did not have a cushy job over there.
This was a part of my AO, that's my area of operation, in which you flew in this area north to Quezon over to the South China Sea. And the Ashau was a place of fear, a place that you always found at that time the enemy. And it was a place that if you did go down, you knew you were not going to probably come home.
This is an amazing story of personal life transformation, of healing, and of the crossing of bridges, enabled through a unique experience offered each year by the VVRP, the Veterans Vietnam Restoration Project, a non-profit, non-governmental organization which sends teams made up of veterans, their family members, and others to Vietnam to reconcile with the Vietnamese and to heal the emotional and spiritual wounds suffered in the war. Since being established in 1988, the organization has sent 24 teams to Vietnam. Over 125 veterans have had the unique experience of returning to Vietnam as a member of a VVRP team. This year's mission was to build a 3-room addition to a school in the An Nho commune in the A Shau Valley. Prior to their departure for Vietnam, the team members, who have been selected for team membership on the basis of applications they have submitted to the VVRP, gather in Sebastopol, California. Here they undergo an intense 3-day orientation and team-building workshop. It is facilitated by 2 volunteers who are members of the VVRP Board of Directors, Scott Rutherford and Ed Daniels. Team members are given helpful information about every aspect of their trip. They also share with one another their reasons for returning.
Wondering if I was the one that bombed his village or destroyed his bridges or killed his brother or father.
The team training is going is very well. I really didn't expect it to be like this, but I think it's going very well.
The training has been very, very intense, a lot different than what I had thought.
At the conclusion of team training, they have formed a close-knit and mutually supportive community that will assure that they realize to the utmost the benefits of the life-changing journey of healing and reconciliation on which they are embarking. On April 1st, the team began their mission of building bridges of healing between America and Vietnam. They were greeted in fine diplomatic style in downtown Hanoi at the impressive offices of Molisa, which is an official co-sponsor of the VVRP missions in Vietnam. In the elegant conference room, they had a conversation with the deputy director about mutual expectations for this year's project. Charlie Wishart, VVRP president and project development director, who had made all the arrangements for the team, made the introductions, and Bud Bruton, spokesman for the team, expressed his hopes for mutual bridge building.
I also do hope that this bridge can be very useful not only for the Vietnamese people but also for the friendship between the two countries.
After leaving Hanoi, they had a brief stay at the citadel city of Hue.
It's a very difficult symbol for veterans to see because that flag was flying in Tet of '68, and the Marines died, as well as many ARVNs died, ARVN soldiers, Republic of South Vietnam soldiers died, to take down that flag.
As they crossed the bridge over the Perfume River in Hue, their minds were engaged in many thoughts, contemplating their past experiences in Vietnam and wondering about their future challenges at the worksite. After leaving the urban city of Hue, the team went by bus to their worksite in the A Shau Valley. It was located near the border with Laos, in a little village where the people were mostly farmers and the working poor. The infamous Hamburger Hill could be seen 5 miles away. This was the third VVRP team that the government had allowed to visit in the A Shau Valley. John Ward, as the VVRP Vietnam rep, had pioneered opening the area. The local people were unaccustomed to seeing Americans. Like all other projects in the past 20 years, the selection of the site was made with the assistance of both the national and local Vietnamese leaders. Immediately upon their arrival, an official reception was given to the team at the People's Committee House by the People's Committee Chairman. The translation was done by the official interpreter Tuan. And then there was a luncheon.
Cheers! Cheers!
Finally, the formalities ended, and the next morning, the work project began.
Toad lamb! Toad lamb! All right!
They met the Vietnamese workers and the Vietnamese project manager. Later, they met the principal and the teachers. And then the local tribal families known as the Ta Oi. A typical day began with checking on whether the laundry had dried overnight, having a very hearty breakfast at 7 a.m., meeting with their young and energetic official interpreter, Tuan. The streets of the little town would already contain students going to school by bike and motorbike.
My name is An.
What is your name?
My name is Lương.
Ingredients for lunch would be picked up, and then the bus transported the team to the An Ngo commune. The neighboring kids would be there to greet the team, and the Vietnamese workers would already be at work. This work site was their dormitory and home for the 8 months of total construction time. The Vietnamese project manager gave the work team their assignments for the day, and all team members worked alongside their Vietnamese colleagues in their challenging physical labor till lunchtime. The ingenuity of the Vietnamese workers was amazing. The entire crew of 11 expected to live and work on site here for the full time needed for completion of the construction. And thanks to the work collaboration with the veterans, work progressed rapidly. This addition of the 3 rooms to the existing school was funded mainly by the VVRP using funds provided solely through the generosity of its donors. Funding partners included the Lotus Humanitarian Aid Foundation, Vietnam Veterans of America Foundation, and the Al Louis School District. Their children attend school in half-day shifts. The addition of the new rooms will allow all the kids to have a full day of schooling.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job.
As it got to be lunchtime, the kids were served first, just a bowl of soup. Then the team had their lunch, which was quite basic, eaten in the cramped quarters, which the Vietnamese workers used as their dormitory. Then the workers would have their lunch. After an hour's break, the work would once again begin. Each day during the mission, the team members built bridges of friendship and understanding. Some of the team members had difficulty handling their feelings.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Why I came back to build bridges, I'm sort of leaving it to a journey of healing.
Just 4 decades ago, these same Vietnamese people, the Viet Cong, had been their daily mortal enemies. Teachers at the school enjoyed having their kids perform for the team almost each day. The team gave gifts and also received gifts.
It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
On the construction site, work continued with both its stressful times and its lighter moments.
I will. Well, let me just get this one.
Okay.
Come on, Smitty.
Ready, set.
West Virginia.
It's been quite an amazing adventure. I'm just really happy that I've done this with him. And I know it's going to be, already it's been a great experience for him, and I see a change already, not only in him, but in everybody. It's just been magnificent.
During their free time for the period of the trip, team members had a chance to make some excursions. One was to a nearby waterfall, and 2 of the team members explored places of their former battlegrounds. One of those was the Tet Offensive of January 1968. Wayne Purinton, who is writing a book based on the 116 letters he had written home from Vietnam during those years, remembers that period of time.
Remember, we were near the Perfume River. We were dug in foxholes. We were encamped down here near the Perfume River. And during the first few days of Tet, we were under constant mortar attacks from, I don't know where the mortars was actually coming from, but they were somewhere around here. The mortars were being launched down towards us. And then February the 13th, we came to this village, and we were ambushed here by the NVA or the Viet Cong, and that's when we lost Lieutenant Beck. And we pulled back, and then on February the 20th, we came back and retook the village.
Through a translator, Wayne asked a 69-year-old Vietnamese veteran living in this village if he remembered the 82mm mortars being launched. He does remember it vividly. Another memorable battle was Hamburger Hill, visible daily from our work site. Dan Albrecht tells about it.
We left Hamburger Hill in a battalion-sized force chasing North Vietnamese back to the Laotian border. After we went for about 2 weeks, we found we really couldn't find many of them, so we broke into company-sized formations, and we continued to look for them. After being out there about 3 more weeks, we were told to build a landing zone, and they were going to extract us back to the fire base. The company commander found a place he thought was a good spot for a landing zone, and we started cutting trees down. To a meeting, he was right in the center of the LZ. On the far side of the log, my platoon was on the other side of the log, away from the enemy. He held a meeting and said, quick meeting, said, I know we're going to get hit tonight, make sure you've got your listening posts out, your people all prepared and everything. So as the meeting broke, all the officers started walking back to their various platoons, and about 10 RPGs landed right there on top of the company commander, killed him and everybody in the CP. Dark, and we all opened up as much as we could. There were a lot of people who were continued to get wounded. Nobody else got on the radio because the company commander was out. No way that we could leave those guys, and plus leave the wounded, and some of the wounded we couldn't find, and the dead that we couldn't get out. We lasted through the night. Come morning, they couldn't bring anybody in to get the bodies out or get. They did get a few of the wounded out. I guess they had a lot of other things going on that day and couldn't get helicopters in. So we took all the equipment that we from the dead that we couldn't get out, piled it all up, burned it. I grabbed the company commander's rucksack and helmet and weapon because they wanted that to be brought out. I carried that out, and we had to slide down the hill toward our fire base. Fire base past Stone. It took us the better part of a day to get down there after we lit a fire of that big pile of equipment we left. Anyway, that was the most afraid that I was in Vietnam.
Well, so far, this mission has really been healing for me, for one thing.
With a VVRP or a similar mission, and seeing Vietnam again, seeing the people, seeing and helping to build bridges, maybe help build a school, all the things that they can do to, it's not to apologize to the Vietnamese people, but it's to put all of this behind you forever.
This mission has been good for me because I love these people, I love the children, and I will be back again if the Lord gives me the strength and the health.
Got to bond with these with the people here, not just the construction workers, but the teachers and the kids too. It was all wonderful, and I feel like a whole lot better than when we got here.
And probably the most important thing for me is the kids, because they're the ones that are helping heal from a couple things. If it wasn't for them, I'd probably be pretty friggin' miserable right now. But it's made my whole trip worthwhile.
I am very satisfied because of a couple reasons. First of all, we've been able to come in and help build a school. There's a lot of kids around here, and they spend half days at school. This is going to give them a chance to spend all day at school. I feel good about it because of my teammates. The team has, for the most part, worked very well together, and I've seen some major changes in some of the people. They've gone through some emotional issues here, and I'm really happy for them.
Well, I'm looking at what we first started with from day one and what we have here now. Never thought that it would come to be. The whole experience, meeting the people, the country, has been rewarding, and I think my transformation from combat warrior to peaceful warrior has finally come into effect.
This was an incredible adventure. I've never been involved in anything like it. Knowing I helped make a difference in this community is heartwarming. I'm proud of all of us. I originally was going to go just to support Dan, but like Dan and the other vets, I have come back a changed person. What an honor it has been for me to see the positive changes in everyone and to know that I was a little part of that change. I was privileged to meet, work, and live with 9 people who treated me with respect and who looked out for me. I'm proud to call them friends. Now I'm far more aware and knowledgeable of what my husband lived through 40 years ago. I always knew Dan was an honorable man, but now he is also my hero. I loved this experience. Thank you, VVRP.
Bud Bruton gave this final commentary.
It's a wonderful thing to watch something new blooming from the ashes of violence. Instead of feelings of anger, feelings of compassion. Instead of wheeling bombs, wheeling bricks. The VVRP, as it carries out its missions of helping Vietnam vets heal the psychic and spiritual wounds suffered in this war, is building bridges of reconciliation, friendship, and camaraderie. Now 24 teams have experienced building these bridges, seeing a new light in the eyes of their former enemies. What I remember leaving behind was nothing but barbed wire, bunkers, bomb craters, scorched earth, and total destruction. Now 42 years later, I can view it again, but this time with a mission plan to build, to mend, and to heal. The VVRP asked you for 2 things. Consider participating in a future team. Next year's project can be found at our website, shown on the screen below. Your participation will change your life. That has changed mine and the lives of more than 100 others. Consider a contribution to help fund a future project that our team members will work alongside the Vietnamese to build. Our projects have helped hundreds of poor Vietnamese children and families over the past 21 years. The VVRP is a nonprofit 501c3 corporation, so your contributions are tax deductible. Its address is shown on the screen below. Thank you.